goddamn crust. Excuse the language. And we're back. Day 2 with another one. I might not keep up, but we're gonna give it our best effort. So let me get this angle right. Oh Chanel. Hold on. So it's your boy Chillington 185 back with another YouTube video. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep my energy up. And this story time is my first one. And I mentioned in the last video that I do poetry, and from time to time now, when I get in that mood to write, or it's just something that I feel should be put to the forefront, whether it's my past experiences, one of my partner's past experiences, or just something that everybody can relate to that goes through things in life, like just relationships. I'm gonna say depression, but like when you just, I call it the sunken place, because sometimes like it's hard to say, because you know how you say you're depressed, be like, bro, you ain't depressed, and all that other stuff, and I just call it the sunken place because depression, like that, you have to be like diagnosed with that for the most part, or just that's a clear indicator, or like that's just something like you. I don't know. I don't know how I would word that, but I'm not gonna try to. But yeah, or just things that you're like experiencing that you can't really express. So I try to push it out in my work and see if I can appeal to, the audience that feels these way about these topics that I cover. So this story today is gonna be about how I became said poet, or became decent at it, and realized it was like good. Cause sometimes when I crank out stuff, I'd be just surprised as the person I'm. Anyway, I'll cry about that later. I'm just as surprised as the person that I'm showing it to. But yeah, but let me get into it. I've talked too much now. So when I was about 13, yes, 13. I was in like seventh. You'd be in 7th grade, then 6th, 7th, one of them. Anyway, we had to do 6th grade, 12. So 12. I lied, 12. So we was in class. We was in history class. I remember Miss Nally, because I went to Thompson 6th grade center, Alabaster, Alabama. So I was in very suburban, very white, not upbringing, but when I was in Alabaster, I was around mostly white folks. So yeah, to keep that in mind. So we had an assignment. We had to write like a little poem, or like something like a little catchy slogan for some assignment. I can't remember. So I wrote my little thing. I was just trying to get a grade, so I just tried to make it rhyme, catchy, and it to like appeal to the school I was at, with Warriors or whatever. So I was just like, okay, that's an easy topic to go off from right there. So then I did that, and the teacher loved it. The class was rocking with it. They weren't like, oh, like they weren't all the hoopla. No, don't get into it. No. They weren't all the hoopla or whatever. They were just like, okay, clapping because, gotta cheer on your peer. That's part of the sign. So I do that or whatever. So then, next thing you know, a few days later, the English teacher called. The English teacher gets me out of class one day, out of history class. She's like, I want to publish your work on the school website. I said, 12-year-old me like, huh? Really? I didn't think it was that good. I didn't think it was that good, honestly. I was just thought, I just, me being me, I'm just trying to get the grade. I'm not even worried about the aftermath of it. So that kind of resonates today. But yeah, so he say it got put on the school website, blase. I didn't know how big and prominent that was. I didn't have anybody in my ear when I was younger. The only younger when I was like coming up, like bro, you should do poetry, you should do this, that, whatever came in. I didn't have that. So I didn't know. So needless to say, it was one night at church when I was still over there in Alabaster. Pastor prayed. He said, I don't know what you're gonna do, but I know you're gonna be a poet. You're either gonna write or you're gonna rap it. I don't know how you're gonna do it. You're gonna probably figure it out, But yeah, and needless to say, I don't know who that pastor was. He was a guest speaker that night too. That Pastor Law's church. I remember that, but I forgot his name. Whoever you are, sir, I appreciate you. You knew what you was talking about. I salute you. But God made that messenger, made me aware of. I wouldn't even. It's like most would call it a gift. I'm not, because I'm very modest. A, a hobby. I say a hobby. A thing I just really like doing that I just so happen to be pretty decent. So we do that. So then that happens. Again, it's crazy. I got two signs. Two signs at 12. Was not aware of it. The synapses in my brain are just misfiring at this point, at this age, I guess. I don't know. But I mean, I was surrounded, but like when you got people talking about your sports, I was decent at football, basketball. I ran track back then. I was just coming off of making the Junior Olympics in track as well. It's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. But yeah, when you got all those three things, you're not thinking about Pope. You're not thinking about that. You're not thinking about that. Just aren't. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. But needless to say, I had to crank out like so many papers, essays, research papers, reports, all that. So that was the last thing in my mind at that time. Cause it was before I got to high school and stuff. So I didn't think nothing of it. Plus, like I wasn't a part of any programs that like really pushed for that, like for you to write for your own, like from your own view, not like write for fun, not a paper like you're actually writing poetry. I had bits and pieces of it in high school, but we were studying poets. We weren't writing it ourselves. So I don't know, just weren't. So here's how I rediscovered it. So I basically went 6, 7, 8, I want to say years without writing, like how I did in middle school at one time I did. So I get to Jacksonville State. My art teacher, Miss Moore. I will never forget that lady name, because I swear now, the way I look at art now is completely different. The way I look at stuff now, completely different. All because of that one class. And she said I should have took creative writing. And that's one thing I regret I didn't do before I left Jacksonville State. I didn't do creative writing. I should have, because that probably would have opened it up a little bit faster. But I can't really feel that bad, because the pandemic happened like the next semester. So the pandemic changed a lot. I'm just going to say this, but I'm going to get into this. So I get home. Everybody get that nationwide call, everybody heading back to the house or whatever. So I get my stuff. I didn't get to get all of my stuff until May. Like May, when they kind of opened it up a little bit. Like they opened the country just a tad. But, So that whole 2-3 months I was in the house, I didn't go outside. Some cats went out. I didn't go outside at all. Me and moms, all of us stayed in the house. We was terrified of that shit. Excuse me for my language. But yeah, I'm just like, and I hoop. So it's like I really had nothing to do. I could have been in the garage, dribbling. I could have did that. I ain't gonna lie, I could have did that. But you gotta think, we weren't just in the house. We weren't just in the house because of COVID. Like, fam. Oh, my bad. That virus, excuse that. I'll edit that out, hopefully. We're talking about Kobe died in this span before the virus, right before. The NBA shut down, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor. I feel like I'm missing something. The Black Awakening happened. So, and I had friends, like, that was all, I was talking to a lot of people over the break. Like, my Jacksonville State friends and, just people I knew. And so I said, and I was starting to write anyway, because I was starting to, like, be more by myself. And I guess that was a sign. I guess that was God just trying to separate me so I can really get back to what I really need to be doing, I guess. I don't know. But I do that. And then Needless to say, I picked up a notebook. I had a mentor at one point. I haven't called him in a while. Sorry, I just had. But another story. But so I get to writing just my thoughts and stuff like January 2020. Just get to writing. So I said, I know this supposed to be an event book, but I ended up turning it into a poetry book. So when I get home, I said, I just got, hey, why don't I write poetry? Why don't I really just try to see if I can do something with this? And then I get to writing Pain. It was the first poem I ever made, like since my reboot, basically. It was Pain. It was because I did it in paper and I didn't like copy and paste how I do it now. It's completely different. Because, you start something, it's always going to be kind of bummy, and then you just kind of work your way up, once you, get understanding what you're doing. So, I'm doing that. I'm just like, that's decent. I didn't get any much positive feedback. I did, but it wasn't nothing to go crazy. So I said, okay, bet. I'm not going to make the same mistake I did a few years ago. So, I wrote another one called 2020. I went from January all the way up to May. Pretty good. I got really positive feedback, not gonna lie. So then I said, okay. So then my friends, Dayla, I probably put her at somewhere. I probably put people, I name drop people, I probably put them their ads or whatever. So Dayla, friend Maya, and another person I didn't know. I don't know him personally, so I don't know. It was gonna start a march, cause George Floyd, all that fiasco happened or whatever. So, and Breonna Taylor, not gonna forget that. So that happened or whatever, and we was trying to make a march, but we were gonna do a peaceful words, a peaceful protest in where my friend Dayla's from, because that's rural, like that's redneck, that's rural white supremacy land. That's all I'm gonna say. Needless to say, it didn't happen, but it was an idea. We tried. So I said, well, he said, you want to speak? I said, okay, well, this be perfect time to, I just made a poem, so let me see if I can, He was like, that's good, but that's not what we're looking for. I said, I kept my humility. Okay. So here's what I did. I wrote another one. But that I didn't get the motivation to really write it. Because I was sitting on it for a minute. I was sitting on it like a few days. It took me a week to write this. But one day, my friend, name dropping again, I will put that at somewhere. I'm going to give everybody credit who I named in this video. But my friend Hannah, if you're watching this, I thank you. Thank you. Because I'm not going to lie. You were the driving force. One of the driving forces that prompted me to make this work called Hate that I made. And boy, I don't know. I done made so much work. It's kind of hard to now it's kind of hard to say what my best work is. But, because I can't. So, but it was powerful though. So, Hannah, kudos to you. Serious shout out to you for real. So she was talking about, George Floyd, another boy that got handled by the police. I forget his name, but yeah, him, Breonna Taylor. She was talking about all that over cause. She was just I could hear the tiredness in her voice because we've been, us black people in the way we've been treated in America for centuries. The United States. I won't say all of it. United States. It's been a crazy thing, but I felt that emotion and I kind of took it on a bit, and then I kind of put my own too. So I did research. I made sure I got my facts right and everything that I've done and everything that I did in that poem. And my emotions were running high. I was angry, and then that saying, I think me and my granddad got in an argument about something that day. So I was already heated already. So that just, it was just perfect storm to make a really great work. And I will perform that poem probably in the coming. Well, I've done it before, but I mean, I probably do it on here. Because one of my friends supported my YouTube, she said she wanted to hear that, so I'll bring that to you. And after that, after those two incidences, and that whole, but if the pandemic didn't happen, I probably wouldn't have picked it up. I'm not gonna lie. So I mean, people saying, "Bro, COVID's the worst thing to happen." Yeah, for me, yes and no. Yes and no. I'm not gonna cap. Something else happened in the pandemic too, and I will talk about that at a later date. So yeah, but in a nutshell, that's what happened. That is the story of how I picked up my hobby in poetry. Simple as that. Those few events from 2012. This weird time, 2012 to 2020. So yeah. Salutations, my good brothers and sisters. Love each and every one of y'all. Like, comment, subscribe. You do, you don't. I'm still gonna push them out anyway. So.